Good afternoon. Here's the national news from BGI TV, Baba Bagede Imo TV. I am Moribe Rabida Lawal. First are the major headlines for the national news. Our Ondo pastor took 77 church members, used rupture to deceive them. Police. Kidnappers live like kings inside forest along Ijebu highway. Escaped female victim raises alarm. Zamfara, Governor Matawali flags off community protection guards. Police brutality, IGP transfer or show CP. Police summon Lagos Corps for shooting motorcyclists over bribe. And lastly, for the national news, 11 burned to death on Lagos-Ibadan highway as 3 vehicles crash. The news in detail. The police command in Ondo State has disclosed how 77 persons were rescued from a church were kidnapped by their pastors. Recall that some children were kidnapped and kept in a dungeon of a church in Ondo Town, headquarters of Ondo West Local Government Area of Ondo State, were rescued by the police in the state. However, according to a statement issued by the Police Public Relations Officer in the state, SP Fumilayo Odulami, and made available to Daily G's, the victims were deceived by Pastor Josiah Peter Asumosa, who is an assistant pastor of the church identified as Whole Bible Believers Church, popularly known as Ondo Church. Daily G's had reported how the victims were rescued on Friday night in the church at Valentino axis of Ondo Town. Odolami disclosed that among the victims were 26 children, 8 teenagers, and 43 adult members of the church. She maintained that the rescue was carried following intelligence report gathered by police operatives at Fagon division of the town. A mother of 3 and a timber merchant in Ondo Town, Ondo State, Mrs. Folakemi Fadoju, has raised the alarm that kidnappers live like kings inside forest along Ijebu Road Highway. The 41-year-old mother said these while narrating her ordeal to Vanguard after she escaped from the kidnappers' den. Folakemi, who spent 4 days in the captivity, was abducted alongside her 7-year-old son in Ondo Town, Ondo State, by 4 gunmen in a sawmill at about 6:45 a.m. She explained that the 4 gunmen invaded the sawmill located at Oka along Ondo Road around 6:45 a.m. while she was at the sawmill to settle a business transaction. The traumatized mother said the hoodlums who blindfolded her bundled her and her 6 sons into a waiting vehicle, shooting into the air, before taking them to a forest along Ijebu, where she spent 4 days without food or water. Narrating her ordeal, Folakemi said that, "I left early for sawmills to attend to some business and pay my workers who are traveling on the same fateful day. But no sooner than I entered the sawmill, these men dragged me into the vehicle, blindfolded me, and drove off. They drove off for some hours and we had to trek to their hideout, where I met 2 other people tied to the trees. They demanded for my phone, which they used to call my husband. They threatened to kill me if my husband tried to play smart by informing the police. The kidnappers contacted my husband and negotiated for money to secure my freedom and my little son. They told me they were kidnappers and they said abducted me because of money. They said if I don't have money, they will take my life. They tortured me and others with no food or water to drink, but they gave my boy water for the 4 days. They operated in the forest like king." On how she escaped. Our escape from the hands of the kidnappers was made possible due to divine intervention. I can't explain what happened in the forest while the abductors had to leave them alone. In case you're just joining, you are watching the national news from BGI TV. Still to come. The governor of Zamfara State, Honorable Bello Mohammed Matawali, has boasted that he is very much ready to ensure total elimination of bandits troubling the entire state. The governor disclosed these during the flag off of training of his newly recruited Community Protection Guards, CPG, pointing out that nobody would prevent him from forming a formidable force to counter the bandits. He noted that the guards in the state would move towards implementing new security measures that could deal decisively with the bandits ravaging the state. Governor Matawali stated that the decision to establish community protection guards was informed by his administration's desire to work out all possible options to deal with the increasing act of banditry, consuming innocent lives and causing untold hardships in some parts of the state. The governor informed the community protection guards of the task ahead of them, urging them to concentrate fully on their training. As community protection guards, you should endeavor to be patriotic. Your names would stand out in history as people with remarkable patriotism, selflessness, and love for peace. Only people with courage and bravery will offer to serve as guards of their communities, bravely standing up to face the brutal infamy of the bandits, he added. He also called on them to work within the parameters of the rules of engagement, which he said would be clearly spelled out during the training, pointing out that as the newly recruited community protection guards, they are agents for the restoration of normalcy, building peace and reenactment of the golden era of harmonious intercommunal relationship in the northern part of the country. Still on police stories, barring any last-minute change, there is a strong indication that Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba has ordered the immediate redeployment of the Osun State Commissioner of Police, Olawale Olokode, from the state. An investigation by our correspondent gathered that the police boss, after several petitions from different quarters on the alleged ineptitude and lack of proper coordination of the part of the Osun Commissioner to properly coordinate his men in the state, took the decision over the weekend. Daily Post earlier reported that the Force Disciplinary Committee, FDC, began reviewing disciplinary cases instituted against 130 senior police officers of the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police and above in order to determine their culpability or otherwise. The high-ranking officers all over the country comprise 2 commissioners of police, 3 assistant commissioners of police, 11 chief superintendents of police, 19 superintendents of police, 18 deputy superintendents of police, and 77 assistant superintendents of police. A reliable source told Daily Post that Olokode was redeployed after a recommendation. To another tragic story from the police quarters as well. The Lagos State Police Command has reacted to a viral video showing a policeman opening fire on a motorcyclist in the Shomolu area of the state. The policeman, who was with some of his colleagues, reportedly requested a bribe from the motorcyclist. Angered by his request, was torn down by the Okada rider who sped off. The cop shot at the tires of the motorcycle. Reacting to the video, the Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, tweeted that he had informed the spokesperson for the Lagos Police Command, SP Benjamin Udeyin, after the video. On his path, Udeyin tweeted that the officers in the video had been identified and promised to give an update on the case. These officers have been identified. Rest assured that updates on the progress of their case will be provided, he tweeted. Udeyin, when contacted by Punch Metro on Sunday, said the officers will be transferred to the command headquarters on Monday today. I called their DPO and he admitted that they were his officers, so I told him that he should bring them to the quarters on Monday morning, he said. Finally, on the national news, on a tragic note, at least 11 persons have been burned beyond recognition in a crash along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The newsguru.com reports Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, in the state sector confirmed the incident on Sunday. The command spokesperson, Florence Okwe, disclosed that the multiple crashes occurred late last night, saying they involved 3 vehicles. Okwe stated that 2 Mazda buses and 1 unknown vehicle had collided and caught fire near the Ishara Bridge, Ogeriremo of Ogun State. A total of 18 persons were involved, but only 7 were rescued, while 11 people unidentified were burned beyond recognition. A total of 7 persons were rescued with injuries, comprising 5 male adults, 1 female adult, and 1 male child. The injured victims were taken to Victory Hospital, Ogeri, for medical attention. One of the victims was rejected, but finally taken to Babcock University Teaching Hospital in Lishon. That was the national news from BGI TV. But before we go, some major headlines. We brought to you on how Ondo pastor kidnapped 77 church members, used rapture to deceive them, police. We also brought to you Zamfara Governor Matawali flags off community protection guards. And finally, 11 burned to death on Lagos-Ibadan highway as 3 vehicles clash. For more updates of our programs, you can link up on our YouTube channel. The handle is Babagide Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to enjoy more of our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagide Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagide Imo _22. For other placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, both outdoor. The following number streaming on your screen is the phone number to dial strictly for advert placement. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. Good afternoon.